Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to round number 7. Noel taking on Ethan. Luffy versus unknown leader that's got its back towards the front. Sorry, guys, we didn't have the stream open. Can't really see what's going on. Yeah, you can enjoy us having our mid game chats like you guys are. You know, we don't get as much free time to talk, but we are back nonetheless. And I'm very curious to see, obviously, what Ethan is going to show off. Because Noel is playing Luffy, and we have seen Luffy in top 16. Oh, baby. Top 16.
Oh, Kaido.
We did have a Kaido and a Luffy. But I am super, super keen for this matchup now. Kaido taking it all the way 6-0 along with Luffy. Ryan, what are you feeling here? What's the general consensus of this matchup?
I do think Red still has the advantage with a lot of the rush capabilities available. Although Luffy kind of has pulled away from kind of running the Zoro and things like that in some lists to kind of mitigate some of that kind of lack of counter power. The longer this game goes, though, the better position that Ethan's going to be in, and we've seen this kind of Luffy deck come back with the Melbourne regional as well, with Ben taking it all the way to top 16, and I believe top 4. So if this is some kind of iteration of that list that is a bit more of like a mid-rangey kind of deck, then Kaido might just get the value to take this game distance.
I'm going to be very, very curious to see, obviously, the way that we did see Kaido a little bit earlier today did kind of interest me in terms of how strong it still was. And it is going to be interesting to see how Ethan's actually made the deck. And it looks like Ethan's going to go first. Not really much you can do with one, but he does get his turn 3 first, which is probably a better situation for Ethan to be in. Noel's just going to be able to tap one, I think, for Nami, if I can see correctly. And it looks like he's grabbed the Rush Zoro off the top. Flexing his alt arts. I think that might even be a super pre-release leader. Mega flex. And that's the alt art Nami as well.
This guy for the cereal.
This guy wants everything, and he's played another one and he's grabbed the Rush Luffy. So a card that I've had a bit of debate with a lot of other players recently, Ryan. Rush Luffy from the starter deck. Good, bad?
Great card. I think that's a great card. Just we've seen how powerful the blockers have been throughout set 1 and even in set 2. It's kind of dropped off a little bit with stronger event cards coming out. But yeah, I think that it's an excellent card just for 5 Don, especially in combination with this leader. But we have seen the double Rush Zoro in hand, which is going to be amazing for Noel to be able to put pressure onto Ethan early on. If he's able to protect those cards with some kind of combination of the counter power in hand, then it's going to be very difficult for okay, so these plays are X1.
Yeah, so this just seeing that now as well. So
yeah,
bit lower. Still one defeat is still not too upsetting. Obviously, going X1 is still great. And Ethan not playing the field. We've said this multiple times. It is the very, very big feels bad. You put yourself behind possibly one turn. It could even be 2 turns here, opting to put 1 Don underneath his leader, and then also playing a blocker with the turn 2, 3 Don. And I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, Ethan has the stage card yet.
And yeah, worth pointing out that these players are more likely playing for their top cut position.
Correct. Rather than both being able to
8 rounds. Yeah, an X2 record you could sneak in, but yeah, if you're
want to win this,
you could also bubble out. Yeah, it's in a very strong position if you're able to take this game.
Very interesting that he's playing who's who here. Realizing the matchups today will probably be very red heavy and actually putting in work with it. The trigger is nice. Being able to use that to get rid of the Rush Zoro as well. he says, who needs a stage card, and goes for a different route here. 2 blockers on the field, being able to get rid of Rush Zoro. But is it enough considering that you can't really ramp when your deck is predominantly all about that?
Yeah, and the Who's Who does force a Don back into the deck, which does put you a little bit behind, especially when you start getting into some of your bigger cards. That's also -1 or -2 Don. You're going to be kind of at a standstill rather than progressing your Don forward. Where with the stage card on 3, you could be going into 6 or 7 Don the following turn here.
Absolutely. And that's where it kind of Ethan kind of keeps pushing himself back now, because a lot of the big bodies and the big cards that come out from Kaido want to make use of that energy manipulation, right? Like you're constantly negging your own Don to be able to use these really, really strong abilities, but not being able to ramp an extra one, even if it is in rest per turn, really slows down this deck quite a bit. And it's kind of why the deck has really fallen off coming into set 2.
Yeah, and we see the value of that Rush Luffy there in combination with the leader effect, just being able to almost force out a damage. It's an AK swing that Ethan cannot block.
And opting to actually play that card from life, having to neg a Don. But I mean, Ethan now on 5 Don. 5.
5 gold Don also.
Well, not a place that you really want to be if you're a Kaido player, to be quite honest with you. All your strongest cards are at least 6, 7. You get into the 9-drop Kaido if anyone runs that as well. The 10-drop, of course, depending on the matchup you've got. And look at him. He's having to put 3 Don underneath just to kind of make do with what he's got, right? Like, this is not pretty at all.
No, that attack there, being able to counter out of that is punishing, because there's not enough combination of Don to put pressure on this Rush Luffy, and Noel gets another turn to be able to put pressure on. So you asked me a few turns ago, Rush Luffy, good or bad? I think the result here is speaking for itself.
Absolutely, and I think it depends on what deck you obviously do end up running Rush Luffy in, right? Perfect example now coming into Ethan. He's got the 2 blockers, and sometimes when you play Kaido, your best offense is a great defense, so you play these blockers out to try and mitigate the early pressure so you can get to the point that you want to get to.
Oh wow, Nami swing.
Noel is not letting him. Noel is not letting him get to that point, and Ethan's having to use both blockers here.
Yeah, we could see another Nami swing here.
And we're going to.
Yeah. And worth noting that the turn prior, Ethan minus a Don from the Who's Who. He minus a Don from the trigger. He went from a 5 Don turn into 5 the following.
Yeah. And you literally look at his Don position now, and he's on 7. 7 when your opponent who is playing red is about to go on to 10. And you went first.
With a pretty comfortable board also. He's got the Zoro, the Luffy.
10 for the
looks like 7 for King.
Oh, it's the King. Yeah, sorry, he's not even at 10. I just literally said that. But 7 for the King Altart.
So that's a -2. Bring him down to 5, and all he's really done is remove the Zoro. You can't really pressure this Rush Luffy, and at best you can clean some of this this board up, but with no blockers available, Red's probably going to take this pretty comfortably.
I mean, Noel can literally go for game next turn, I would say, right? And he's second life is taking all game right now. Very, very happy with that. More cards in hand means more possibilities, and oh man.
Yeah. And we've played this matchup a little bit, you and I, back in set 1. And if Luffy just sees those rush cards early, it is so punishing for purple to try and set up comfortably.
Noel was putting down the Newgate SR, and I don't know if this is this is giving your opponent an extra turn to come back somehow. I don't know if I. Oh no! Oh,
Yeah,
there is
that's
nothing.
brutal.
There is
Getting the
nothing
island.
worse. There is nothing worse than seeing that in your last life after you're already done for the game. I mean, it ends up being that Noel was in such a comfortable position to obviously drop down that Newgate SR for 9, being able to use one of those rested Dons to attach, but you didn't even need to do that, man. Like let's be realistic here. He had the he had the rush Luffy. He could have put 5 under that, 5 under his leader, and like the thing with Kaido, and one of the biggest problems that it's always had. Again, there is so many non-combo cards that you can put into that hand, that if your opponent knows the situation that you're in, and this goes for Smoker as well right now. So many cards that you can't combo with in purple and also black, even though they have like a 6-7
Mm.
card hand size, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you just got less to worry about. And I think Noel kind of knew that as well, that Kaido hadn't really played any of his big boss monsters down because he just didn't have
Mm.
the Don available. So more
Mm-hmm.
likely, his hand was probably filled with these cards that don't have counter power and these
Yep.
event cards that he didn't have Don for. I
Yep.
reckon he just wanted to play the Newgate Altar just to flex a little bit. He probably knew that he had game from those cards, or at
Uh,
least it was in a comfortable enough position that
yeah.
he wasn't going to die the next turn. And it was going to be very difficult for anyone to put pressure into a 7K lead.
Yeah. And that's probably the quickest game that we've had today, Ryan.
Mm,
We've obviously had red versus red mirror matches. We've even had green mirror matches, but that was quite quick. The power of obviously not being able to see your island, and really putting you at a disadvantage, forcing you to play cards that you probably don't want to play, and forcing your curve to be completely off. Again, one of the big reasons why you don't see much Kaido coming into it anymore. But guys, round number 7 done, dusted, very, very quick. 20 or so minutes left in the timer. Then we'll be going into extra time or overtime. So about half an hour until we get into the next one. We'll make sure that we don't have any little conversations while you guys are waiting for us. We'll make sure the stream is up. We'll make sure that we get that start time ASAP, but maybe grab a snack, join us, because next round is going to be the final round to find out who gets into top 16. We'll be getting into that one tomorrow, but stay where you are. 30 minutes or so, we'll get you the final round for today.